big shout out to Keith, my producer. Thanks for doing all these videos. One thing that's been really on my mind a lot this last week, I've had some things coming up kind of hold me back from my manifestations. That's really been putting a little bit hold onto them. But what that was is what a lot of people don't understand is the main reason why we don't create the things that we want into our life, the reason why things don't come into our life, it's mainly because we have all these blockings and we have these things that are holding us back from creating. And a lot of it's just self-sabotage, just the things we say to ourselves on daily habits, like we're stupid or we're not good enough, or why would they choose me? Little things like that. And one thing we really need to understand to be able to get through those, we need to bring them up. We need to bring them up, and we really need to look at them, and we need to focus on those, and we need to learn to release those. Sorry. But one thing a lot of us don't do, including myself, is we don't want to go through those hardships again. Those hardships we've gone through, we've kept them down deep, and we don't want to bring them back up because they're hard. But the biggest thing about any and all things is if you want to create something, you gotta figure out the things that are holding you back. Like, for example, I mean, if you want to build a house on swampy land, you gotta remove all the swampy material. You know what I'm saying? So all that swampy material in us, we gotta get out of there so we can build that house, so we can create that thing that we truly want to create. And so the best way to do that is just really sit and focus. Sit and focus on things that are really hurting you, things that are bothering you or that have been bothering you, or just things that you don't want to bring up. That's the main thing. I mean, really look deep and focus on those things that you don't want to bring up, and you got to bring those up, and you got to be able to release them. And the more you bring things up and look at them and pay attention to them and go through them, and that's why therapy is so important to a lot of people. What that does, therapy is it brings all that old stuff up, and it allows you to release it because you're going through it. You're bringing it up, and you're talking to somebody about it. And I mean, I've gone through therapy myself, and it was hard to bring all that stuff up. It's embarrassing, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I mean, that's the one thing we all need to understand is we're all connected. We all have basically the same type of insecurities and problems. It might not be all the same, but at the same time, I mean, don't be embarrassed by what you have gone through, because that is your life, that is your journey, and other people have embarrassing moments of themselves that they're not willing to talk about or go through. And that's one thing we really truly need to understand as well is don't worry about anybody else. Don't worry about what anybody else is going through, because that's their own certain thing. But one thing I do want you to understand is when you do hear other people going through their things, I mean, don't make fun of them. Don't laugh at them, because that's just something else that's going to hold you back from creating as well. Understanding when you can have a connection with that, when you can actually step into that person's shoes and feel that with them, that's helping them release that as well, because your energy is connecting with theirs. When you can do that, you can help release that. And so being able to connect energetically on a deep level, and that's something I've always been very good at. That's one of my gifts that I've always had in my life. I've always been able to feel other people's pains. I've always really been able to get through to people as well. One thing I'm very good at is I'm very good at sitting and talking to people and making them feel comfortable enough to allowing them to bring their that crap that they don't want to talk about to bring up. Because one thing I've always been able to do, I've always been able to, kind of go through a little bit of my story. And when you go through my story, people feel a lot better, because my story is pretty horrible. But at the same time, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that's their story might have been way worse than mine. But that's the biggest thing. I mean, we need to learn to go through these things together. When we can actually connect with other people and help them get through that, you're actually not only helping them, you're helping yourself as well. Because when you're able to do that, when you're able to help somebody, you're full on helping yourself clear those negative energy blocks as well. And that's one thing that's very, very important to understand with creativity. So one thing I really want you guys to understand is bring that stuff up. Really pay attention to it. Go through it and release it. You know what I mean? Just like, for one example, I mean, you know, pretend when you're bringing that up, pretending like there's a fire and it's just burning it, or wind blowing it away, or water flowing through you and just releasing it, you know, releasing it. Or even when you take a shower, bring that stuff up in the shower and really think about it and just pretend all that shit's just washing away, washing right through you. And really keep doing it until you're able to feel comfortable with it. Until you're able to feel, hey, that was part of my life. That's what made me what I am today. And when you're able to do that, when you're able to really sit with it and just understand like that, hey, that's something that happened to me. I'm able to live with it now, and I'm able to move on. That's when you're actually at an understanding where things are going to start happening for you a lot more, because those blocks aren't holding your creativity back. Because when you're creating, and that's the thing, we're always creating. We're never not creating. And so when we have all these thoughts going through our head, that's what we're creating. And if we want to create something, we might be creating it up to the time where, you know, it might almost be here. Then all of a sudden you start to get that crap in your head again that will literally just block it. Or even another thing is our intuition. When our intuition tells us to do something, we might not do it. It might just be we're having a bad day, so we just want to be really ornery and grouchy and lay in bed all day, or not go anywhere. When that friend calls you and says, hey, let's go do something, you know, that might be the time where you might go meet somebody that is going to make you whatever that life is that you want. I mean, it's those little things that you need to put together. You need to start focusing on. And there's a lot of things you really got to start doing. And so the more you pay attention to those things, the more that energy grows, and the better you're going to be at it. But if you're not doing anything about it, you're not going to get anything out of it. And I remember me, I mean, I always knew these videos were real. I always knew people doing these were people that knew what they were doing. But I always thought they were kind of stupid, or I thought, oh, well, why would I do that? You know, it just doesn't mean nothing. That's the biggest thing we need to understand is, I mean, our truth is our truth, and whatever we believe, we're going to receive. We're going to allow to be true. And so when you're really putting your thoughts on things and saying those types of things, you got to pay attention to what you're saying, when you're saying, at all times. That's why it says, keep thy temple clean. You're the temple. There's no, temples are just, I don't know. Anyway, the temple is thyself. Keep thy temple clean. Know thyself. Know thy words that are coming out of thy mouth. Know thy thoughts that are going through your head. Know those thoughts you're not allowing to bother you, that aren't allowing to sit and fester in your head. The best thing that I've been doing is whenever a negative thought comes up is just, not today, something else. I'll bring something else in. And doing that immediately, so you're not allowing that to happen, you're going to grow more and more and more and more. It's just going to grow more and more, and those little thoughts are going to just start getting smaller and smaller. They're not going to come up as strong anymore. They're always going to come up. Thoughts are always going to come up. That's what we are. We're receivers. We're constantly receiving anything and everything. But it's what we're allowing to come in our bodies is the main thing. And so when we can get those thoughts out as quick as possible and bring something else in, that's what's going to mainly grow. And so pay attention to what you're thinking. Pay attention to what you're feeling as well, because our feelings are the key to everything. Our feelings are a whole new language we've never been taught. And so pay attention to your feelings. Our feelings are very important, very strong. One thing that's been happening to me is I've been getting rushes of energy just going through me. And, you know, I can do it, you know, I can bring it on pretty well myself, but not the energy I'm talking about. I've been having energies that's just been flowing through me. I'm seeing things that, you know, the veil they call it, I've been starting to see a lot more. And it's not like I'm really seeing like a lot of stuff, but it's really just those things on the corner of your eyes. I can always see it when I move my eyes. I can always see something now, always. And I'm seeing little lights sometimes. I'm seeing Um, just, it's something. I don't know what it is, but it's something. And so I'm paying attention to it more. One thing I'm really trying to do as well is I'm really trying to focus on my chakras that are going in my body, my energies, and you know, I haven't been doing a very good, very powerful job at that, but I'm gonna start, because like it's like I say I want all these things, but I've been very lazy at doing them, and so it's really putting in the work. I mean, what do you want to do? You know, the things you really want to do, you got to put in work, and the more work you put in, the more you're going to get out of it. And so I promise you guys, if you really focus on, you know, those negative things, those things that have been holding you down, just those negative blockages, those walls, you pay attention to those and you really work on them, that's when things are really going to start happening for you. And so I just wanted to make a video on this today because it's been coming up in my world. And again, this is something, you know, I kind of want to show you guys of what's happening to me. And so I'm the one putting in the work for it. If you guys do this work as well, it will happen for you. And so, you know, we're all the same. None of us are different. If it works for somebody, it's going to work for another. You know what I mean? And so really do the work, guys. Put in the work. Find out what your blockages are. Go through them, bring them up, feel them, and release them. Because once you do that, you're going to feel a whole lot better. You're going to see your life's going to start coming to you. And this is a process. This isn't something that just happens like law of attraction. Oh, start doing this and your world's going to create. No, it's a process. You got to really focus on the things you have to do to make those things happen. Because I used to always wonder, why doesn't this always work for me? You know what I mean? Because I had a lot of blockages. I had a lot of things that were holding me back. And that's the thing, like, we can get up and make things happen, but on a quantum level, I mean, energy is all around us. Anything and all things can happen at any time, as long as you're clean enough. That's why it talks about your body being cleansed. The temple, keep it clean. That's what it means. That's what that whole point means. And so you can do any and all things. That's what it talks about, heaven. Heaven is right here, right now. We're just not able to see it because we've been taught some bullshit lie. We've been taught a lie about hell. And so we're creating our own hell here. And that's what it's all about. And so really, you know, don't put too much energy into that or much thought into that. But, or do, you know, do. And I strongly suggest you do. But I mean, pay attention to those little things. Don't put it all together at once. Do little increments. Really focus on certain things, and then to be able to clear them, and then the next step. And we're going to kind of go through those steps together, you know. So I love you guys. You know, keep it up. Love yourself. Love everybody, because everybody and all things are connected to you. So when you're putting out that hate's coming to you. When you're putting out that love's coming to you. That's why it says, be in service, because you're not servicing others, you're servicing yourself, you're servicing your higher good, you're servicing your power, you're servicing your connectivity to the world, to be able to grow, that energy to grow and connect and be a lot stronger so things can happen a lot faster. So I just want to say I love you guys and keep it up.